When I was 4, my best friend Yusuf was deaf. I had to learn sign language quite quickly. We communicated via the pressing of hands and the focusing on each other's presence. Every conversation a secret handshake. Our joy was the loudest kind of beautiful. Our laughter, a reckless noise that echoed throughout our London apartment complex. When I was 4, my mother introduced me to God in the cutest way possible. She said Jesus was her best friend and asked if I would be his friend too. And we communicated the same way me and Yusuf did, through the pressing of hands and the focusing on each other's presence. And ain't that just like God, to speak in signs? My mother says if you're ignorant to the hand of God in everything, your prayers will always sound like dial tone. But that summer, my parents told me we were moving away to Toronto and everything grew silent. The 4-year-old in me wished that hands were actually telephones. That way we'd never be disconnected, but I'm now distant from London and trying to find my way back to God. A closed fist, the only sign I know now. We moved to Hamilton, and I stopped speaking altogether. A bullied kid with a hate and love relationship with recess. They called in counselors like the bomb squad, tried to figure out why I'm wired this way. What makes a kid want to detonate across the jaw of another? My grandmother dies, and toxic masculinity won't allow me to cry. Grief sounds like a muted scream. My mother walks in my room, sees my face buried in my hands, knows I'm silent and yet deep in conversation, and the dark of the sky cries when no one is looking. Dew is the residue of all the lonely a night had to offer. Each night the sky drowns the grass in tears. And this is how most black boys deal with depression. Akin to shadow, akin to a tree falling in a room full of no one, in a room full of everyone. Liken us to mold, the way we learn to grow past all the parts of ourselves that have died. And it's nights like this I miss God the most, and ain't he the best type of friend? The type you can lay beside, not have to say anything and feel understood. And I realized how close me and Yusuf actually were. How silence is our mother tongue. And I wonder how many black boys learn sign language in search of camaraderie. And I wonder what it means that I've forgotten all this sign language. There's so much integrity in sign language, how your words and actions have to match. And I wonder what it means that I've forgotten it all. I wonder if I met Yusuf, how would I tell him I loved him? How would I tell him I finally learned how to ride a bike? That he's right. The great popsicle is the best one. How would I tell him I loved him? But I realized love has its own divine decibel. An audio heavenly wave greeting the best parts of ourselves. When something is this loud, when something is this beautiful, you don't necessarily hear it anymore. You feel it in your chest.